Francis Key Bridge crash in Baltimore. Definitely not an accident. How can people be so naive? Look at how much distance there is between those two important support pillars. The only two pillars you could have hit to take that section of bridge down. And look at the size of the boat you could have steered anywhere else, even when you had power, to avoid those, and it would have been fine. But as you can see here, the Navigator directly targets the support pillar. And he can't use the excuse that there was no power because these ships have redundant hand steering systems, so he quite happily could have dropped the anchor and then had all hands use the redundant hand steering to come about towards the stern and completely avoided the pillar, or at least just drift through the middle and hit a piece that wouldn't have destroyed that whole section of bridge. But of course, the news aren't going to report this because the company that owns this boat, that runs that service, is a company that operates from Singapore. A country where if you say the wrong thing, they won't let you back in the next time to report the news. And I say again, only these two pillars could have been destroyed to bring that whole section of bridge down. If you look at the design of the bridge, the area of impact and the size of the boat, the fact that there's corrective steering going on despite there being no power, so it was obviously not an accident, that's the reason this whole bridge came down. And I'm convinced it was not an accident. It had to have been by design, by this company, Synergy Marine Group, a company part-owned by Chinese interests operating out of Singapore. Now, they're going to blame the Navigator and say, oh, he's Indian, you know, something to do with India, because obviously India and China are enemies. But I know better, and I think we all need to be more intelligent about this. Judging by the state of things at the moment, the information war, the amount of propaganda coming out of this particular part of the world. 1 Kim Seng Promenade, West Tower, Singapore 237994. That is the people who are responsible for this. Then it's weird how they also offer marine insurance, so they can claim money from different financial institutions, mainly in America, to cover the cost of this and pay out insurance to that company in Singapore. Obviously, America are going to have to claim on their insurance for the bridge that was destroyed. So in conclusion, dear ladies, gents and Pikachus, I think this was not an accident. I think this was by design. This is an outrage how it's been written off as an accident when you can see how much space that ship had to avoid the accident. On the approach, it should have been heading towards the middle of the two support pillars, knowing that either one of those gets hit, it brings the bridge down. And it should have had tugboats alongside either side of it to make sure it didn't hit into those. Again, this is management that should have been done by Synergy, the Singapore-based shipping company. So needless lives have been lost here, needless property has been destroyed here, a whole bridge has been brought down, which is going to make everyone's life more difficult who has to cross that bridge. Obviously they're not going to be able to do that now, and the marine life in the area is going to be severely affected. So that's the end of this video. I just wanted people to think twice before they make a judgment on whether this is an accident or not, and not be told by the media that it is an accident when clearly it's a suspicious looking event, to say the least. And that's the end of this video.